Greetings, I came across a news story today that I found interesting to say the least, and I want to share it with you, so let's take a look. Here we go. Alyssa Milano opens up about having 2 abortions. Actress and women's rights activist Alyssa Milano opened up about having 2 abortions in 1993 because she was, quote, not ready to be a parent after becoming pregnant while taking birth control pills. Milano spoke of her experience on the latest episode of her podcast entitled Sorry, Not Sorry. I'm Alyssa Milano and I've had an abortion. I control my own body, she said. Well, the issue with that is it wasn't your own body that you were terminating the life of. You were terminating the life of a unique thing that you created, a unique life that you created. She spoke of becoming pregnant for the first time in 1993. I was in love for the first time in the breathless way you can only be in when you're in love when you're young. It was huge, overwhelming even. It filled every part of living, and it was a joyful and exciting and powerful time in my life, she said. The actress said that in addition she was taking some other thing. I still got pregnant, she said. I was devastated. I was raised Catholic and was suddenly put in conflict with my faith, a faith I was coming to realize empowered only men to make every single decision of what was allowed and what was not allowed, Milano said. Now, can you imagine when Jesus was being tortured to death and he's hanging there on the cross? Do you think he was thinking, this is going to be a great way to control women? The Who's the Boss star said she wanted to focus on her budding film career. I knew at the time I was not equipped to be a mother, and so I chose to have an abortion. I chose, Milano said, adding that she faced crippling anxiety during that time period. Well, gee, why do you think you're having this crippling anxiety? It was my choice, and it was absolutely the right choice for me, and it was not an easy choice. It was something that I wanted. But it was not something that I wanted, but it was something that I needed, like most healthcare is. After terminating her first pregnancy, Milano said on the podcast that she continued with her previous sexual relationship and use of birth control pills. A few months later, I found out I was pregnant again. I had done what I knew to do to prevent pregnancy and was still pregnant. So once again, I made the right decision to end the pregnancy. So here she is. She gets pregnant twice in the matter of just months. 2 abortions in the same year, just within months of each other. Milano told her audience that she would not have her acting career or her activist platform had she not made the decision to get abortions. Yet now she's an activist. She has anxiety, and she's come out before saying she has these mental health issues. But gee, why do you think she has mental health? Do you think it because she rejected the structure in her life? She doesn't want a man telling her what to do? This sounds like a girl that has daddy issues. But one of the great things about religion, which is here she's talking about how she rejected, is aside from the supernatural aspects and just the hope it gives you of knowing that there's a heavenly Father that looks at us the way we look at our children if we're a parent. If you're a parent, you totally understand what it's like to look at your child. But when you think about how we have a heavenly Father that looks at us as his children, and just how reassuring and how much hope it gives you and how much fear it takes away from your life, fear of things like death. But aside from all that, even if you don't believe in that, one of the really great things about religion is the structure that it gives you in your life. Sometimes we need people telling us what to do, as long as it's coming from a place of love. And when we have these rules in place, it's not to prevent us from having fun, from having a good life. It's to prevent us from making really costly mistakes that are going to impair our lives and our happiness and our families' lives. But Milano told her audience that she would not have her acting career or her activist platform she made to get the right decisions. 15 years after that first love had fizzled, my life would be completely lacking of all its joy, she said. I would never have been free to be myself. What a bunch of nonsense that is. And that's what this fight is all about. Freedom. Well, apparently these kids that she created by her own decisions didn't have the freedom to be born. Aside from, before we can even have freedom of speech or any of those other freedoms, shouldn't we have the right to be born? She went on to say that she would not be able to have her two beautiful, perfect, loving, kind, and inquisitive children with her husband, who, if you know who her husband is, she married a Hollywood agent from CAA. She's not going to marry a mere commoner. That's how these people are. She's an elitist, but she's a very low-level elitist. That's why she's just a useful idiot for the elites. She's just a mouthpiece, and in exchange, they allow her to occasionally be on TV and do what she likes to do. Milano has spearheaded efforts to push back against strict abortion bans passed by several Republican majority state legislators in recent months, including a bill that banned abortions once a fetus has a detectable heartbeat in Georgia. That's another example. She's interfering with elections. She's from Hollywood. She doesn't live in the South, but she's trying to interfere in these elections in the South. This morning, I woke up really early, and as I got up, I looked at my family who was sleeping, and I was just thinking about how great it is. I wasn't thinking like her, where, geez, if I could get rid of these people, I could have such a better career. And thankfully, I've actually had a lot of blessings lately, where some of the older stuff I've done has gotten a lot more popular, and it's gotten more recognition. It went from some of it getting popular when it was first released to being totally forgotten about, and now I'm blessed with all the recognition that I've been gaining for my work and my creativity, and that's great, but I understand that this stuff is fleeting. It can come and go. Sometimes you're going to be popular and you're going to receive these blessings, but you can't get upset when the blessings go away. And here she's talking about, but my career. And when Roe versus Wade was passed, one of the arguments was the lie that Roe was raped. And this is what tolerance gets you. They get you to go in with a somewhat reasonable thing, and like, well, if it's rape, which wasn't even true, to somehow down the line, a Hollywood actress is like, but I need to have abortions because that's going to hurt my acting career. I might not make another $1 million this year if I don't have these abortions. This is someone that's never worked a real job in her life, so she can't associate with us. She can't understand how we feel. When she gets married, it's always to some kind of Hollywood type. She'll never marry one of the so-called common people. Those elections that she likes to interfere in the South, she's never going to marry someone or hang out with people from that, because it's all about her. She just wants this platform where she can be on TV, or she can have her Twitter and keep getting that attention. And she's like, but it would have hurt my career. Well, what was she doing in the early 90s? She was making softcore pornos, basically. And to her, that's important work. When I think about my grandfather, he built a lot of the houses in his town in North Dakota, and the houses that are still standing, still housing families, giving people lots of joy. My grandmother worked as a nurse. My father, he was a chiropractor, helping people be healthy. And these are things that are actually important. Or you think about jobs like firemen. Firemen, they're out there saving people's lives and livelihoods by saving their homes. And Milano somehow thinks that being on TV, there's nothing wrong with entertaining people, that's a great service, but she seems to think that it's as important as those other jobs, maybe even more important from her worldview, but she's nothing more than a useful idiot to these elitists, and she'll keep putting out this stuff out there. And like I said, this is a woman that she's come out before that she has all these mental issues. Well, if she would have followed the structure that her former religion gave her, maybe that would prevent some of this stuff. And I'd like to end by saying that she rejected her faith, but if you don't have faith, if you don't believe in a Christian God or any kind of karma, anything, there's really no reason to be good to people. You might as well just do what you want to do, which is what she's doing, but she's not going to like if the rest of us adopt that philosophy and we start doing what we want to do, or if people do what they want to do to her. She's not going to enjoy that, so this is what tolerance has brought us.